Good morning. We're currently descending into Atlanta Airport, and it is early in the morning, off a long flight from Brazil. That is where today's adventure will begin. Good morning from Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. I'm Caleb from Caleb's Aviation, and I've just arrived here in Atlanta and have nearly 9 hours to kill here on a layover from a flight from Brazil. I was hungry and heard this place had decent food and some pretty good views, so I decided to check it out. Oh boy, did it ever. The views here absolutely did not disappoint, and the food was pretty good in the end. I didn't have high expectations, but the views were certainly worth it. Atlanta Airport is such a big and busy place. There's constantly things to see, with Delta being the primary carrier here, although every U.S. airline serves Atlanta. There were lots of 757s and some 737s today. I especially loved the Boeing 757s, as it's gotta be one of my favorite aircraft. A particular highlight was seeing this Airbus A321 heading off to Detroit. This is the type of plane I'd be flying today, way up front in first class. What a treat. I also had the rare privilege of catching this Boeing 717, heading out for Savannah, Georgia. I hope to fly this plane someday soon, before they're all fully retired by Delta. Unfortunately, many other carriers like QantasLink and Hawaiian have already begun to phase out the Boeing 717, which is a shame, because it's a cool airplane. I then decided to take a ride on the plane train, which is an underground automated train system that connects all the concourses here in Atlanta, underground. It's pretty cool to ride on. Unfortunately though, because it's underground, there are no stunning views in Atlanta. Some other airports like Phoenix and Orlando that have the trains above ground offer some stunning views, if there's good weather that is. But eventually, all my riding time paid off as I memorized the announcement.
Board the plane train. Please hold on. This train is departing. Stop is concourse B. B as in burgers and beverage.
Well, after riding the train and enjoying that more than I'm going to admit, now it's time to find my gate B36, and head there to board the Airbus A321. They'll be taking me back to Grand Rapids Airport today. Let's go.
Yeah, right here. I made the most hilarious joke in all of aviation history. Unfortunately, my camera was in the wrong settings, and it was all muted. I apologize.
But yeah, spoiler alert, last time I was here, I was checking out the Delta Flight Museum. Saw the first 747, the first 767, and made a video of the entire museum as well. I also saw the whale sharks in the Georgia Aquarium that were brought here by cargo planes by UPS. Anyway, check out those videos, I'll leave the links up above.
Yes, definitely check out those museum videos from the Delta Flight Museum. I'll leave the links at the end of this video. It was super cool to make those videos. I also saw this A319 being towed to its gate, and found my gate. Here is the 6-year-old Airbus A321 that'll be taking me on Delta Flight 719 back up to Grand Rapids today. And wouldn't you know it, another departure. Atlanta is so busy, it just boggles my mind. Pretty soon a Delta 737 will arrive next to our A321. And that begs the question, which do you prefer, the 737 or the A320 family jet? I also spotted another 757, and the magical sign for first class appeared. It was time to board this aircraft. Let's go.
How you doing? That worked. Thank you. And we're off, Grand Rapids, here we come.
As we boarded the plane, I noticed this sign for fast free Wi-Fi. Unfortunately, the Wi-Fi never did work.
Did you guys start here today, or where did we start? You?
Brazil at about 4 a.m.
I thought I woke up early. Yeah, that's a rough one.
And for those of you who care, here's our cabin layout on this A321 today. It was arranged in a 2-2 configuration, which is nice. I only had to step over one person to get out, instead of the usual 2. Prior to pushback, we were offered a complimentary drink of our choice, including free alcoholic beverages in first class, another upgrade over economy. However, given it was only 9:55 in the morning, I didn't expect anyone to order any alcoholic drinks, and I was correct in my assumption. Also today we had such a beautiful view, taxiing past the Delta Airlines maintenance hangars, which was a real treat for me, a self-proclaimed av geek. Pretty soon we rolled onto our runway and got ready for takeoff. To see the full edit-free version, click the link in the upper right-hand corner. And wouldn't you know it, another treat. On our takeoff roll, I spotted the Team USA Delta A350, which was super cool. I also spotted the tail of the Boeing 747-400, the very first ever built, now in the Delta Flight Museum. Now that we're up in the air, let's look around our seat. We have this awesome 16-inch touchscreen TV with headphone jack and a USB-A plug for charging your mobile device. The screen also tilted, which is great, meaning if someone reclines in front of you, it doesn't mess up your enjoyment of the content. I also brought my own headphones, as the provided ones, even in first class, are no good. One thing that is good is the plethora of content available on Delta Studio. Lots of TVs and movies and music tracks as well from Spotify. I put on some music and relaxed. Throughout the duration of this flight, the seatbelt sign never went off, it seemed, so I didn't get up much on this plane. However, it wasn't a long flight. Above my head there were also lights and individual gas spurs or air vents. I find this great. I wish airlines would stop getting rid of these on airplanes, as they're usually much too hot. However, I also found something annoying. Whenever there's an announcement in progress, it pauses all your media. I guess this is for safety purposes, but it was irritating with a constant stream of announcements. My seat also contained several large storage pockets which I filled with my junk in no time, and also the safety card pocket, and I read through this safety card thoroughly because safety is important. Additionally, down here in the corner, there are also two power sockets with a USB-A plug as well, one for each passenger. However, there was this little metal bar in the middle between the seats. I constantly hit it with my foot. However, the seat was plenty wide and much more comfortable than economy. We were also provided a bottle of water upon boarding, or any alcoholic beverages if we wanted it, like I mentioned earlier. Also, another upside of Delta Studio is you can have music going like I had here, and also put on the in-flight map and flight tracker systems. These new flight maps are also excellent, if a little slow. Once the map system loaded up, it was pretty cool. It provided all sorts of different views of our aircraft and our route, including any landmarks below us that were deemed, quote, relevant by the airline, and there was also this virtual window feature. This was super cool. I have only ever heard of this feature on Emirates, but pretty soon it was time to look out the actual window, as the weather had deteriorated slightly from when we'd left Atlanta this morning. However, the weather still didn't stop the cabin service. With the anticipation of cabin service, I opened up my tray table. It folds out of the armrest here to my left, and even has a nice little drink slot, which is always nice so you don't have to open the entire table. Also, once I opened the table, I became aware of its quality. It was very loose and shaky. With the prices people pay for first class, I really would have expected better. Also, the Christmas-themed napkins here were kind of funny. To kick off the service on today's flight, I ordered a cranberry juice. First class gets an actual glass, instead of a cheap plastic cup like in economy. The tray table also slid back and forth to allow you out during service if need be. Pretty soon I toasted you guys, tried the cranberry juice, and enjoyed the sound of ice clinking in my glass in turbulence. My seatmate, on the other hand, had ordered a glass of the Sweetwater IPA, and was kind enough to let me film it for this video. Pretty soon I decided to look out the actual window again, as the country slipped below us, on our track from the south back to the north. I also decided to test out the Wi-Fi which I'd been hearing so much about. However, that was a total fail. It didn't work once throughout the duration of this flight, which was quite surprising given how much Delta promoted it. So instead I settled on some more music, and pretty soon the snack service came around. I tried these chocolate shortbread cookie things for the first time, and they were delicious, the best thing I've eaten on any flight. There were also Delta's signature Biscoff cookies. The first class seat also comes with an adjustable headrest, with these deployable side wings, perfect to keep your head from flopping about while you sleep, which I appreciated. When I woke up, we were overflying the city of Cincinnati. I recently made a video at Cincinnati doing some plane spotting, and it was great. Definitely make sure to check it out, linked in the upper right. Pretty soon we flew into Michigan and began our descent into the Grand Rapids Airport. It was definitely different landing in Grand Rapids versus the weather we'd left behind us in Atlanta. Instead of being sunny and warm, it was cold and nasty, only about 38 degrees on this day. But I guess March is still winter, and up here in Michigan, we could have even had snow. So to answer our question for today, how was the flight? How was Delta First Class versus Economy? Well, to start, I was extremely grateful for getting to fly in the first class cabin. I flew it to Atlanta and then back in this review. It was definitely pretty cool, however there's some things to consider about first class. Of course, first class gets you a slightly larger seat and priority boarding. You also get free alcoholic beverages. However, given that we had broken Wi-Fi, no difference in cabin service since there was no food on a domestic first class flight with Delta, and the fact that the tickets are nearly 4 times the money, is first class really worth it? Pretty soon I got off the plane. First class passengers get to leave the aircraft before pretty much anyone else. However, it means you'll be waiting in the freezing cold jet bridge longer, as it was for me. So, in the end, is first class worth the upgrade? No, I really don't think so, unless the right conditions occur. If someone else is paying for the trip, like a business trip, that might be one thing to consider. If you're on a short international flight served by a narrow-body aircraft, if it's a gift from a friend or surprise due to your high airline status, or you're simply more well off than I am. Personally, if I were paying, I'd rather save my money and fly with Southwest. Well, that's all I have for you in this video. I hope you've enjoyed. You know the drill by now. Make sure you leave me a like, a comment, and subscribe to my channel. But as always, until next time, I'll be wishing you blue skies and tailwinds, not from first class.